I think you're mad.
Possibly. I must admit, I've never felt so elated in my life, not since I first... That was a long time ago.
Hello, welcome back to YCFT. We've come to the end of our Hammer horror project for this year, the last of the Frankenstein videos. Previous video, we talked about Evil of Frankenstein, Frankenstein created woman, and Frankenstein must be destroyed. God, that was a lot of films to talk about.
Yeah, it was a marathon.
We only have two for this one.
Yeah.
That is The Horror of Frankenstein from 1970 and Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell from 1974.
Yes.
Two very, very interesting films.
Yeah, you're telling me.
So we'll start with The Horror of Frankenstein, which was actually directed by Jimmy Sangster, who was a bit of writer on most of Hammer's films, and Peter Cushing never enjoyed his writing, neither did Christopher Lee. When he was brought on board to write this one, he basically realised that all they wanted was The Curse of Frankenstein again.
It's a retelling of the an origin story, basically.
Yeah, so it doesn't fall on from any of the other ones. No. You can just jump in without any background or watching any of the previous ones.
Clean slate.
It's essentially a clean slate, more of a clean slate than Evil was. So he basically said, "Look, I'm not just going to write the same film again. I want to direct it."
Yeah.
Replacing Peter Cushing. So it's not that Peter Cushing was fired or that he didn't want to come back. Hammer literally just wanted a new, fresh-faced actor to try and bring in younger audiences.
Yes.
So they brought in Ralph Bates.
Yes.
Now, I must say, so I've watched this movie twice now.
Yeah.
On first viewing, I felt like he was a bit miscast, but I think I just see him as Dr. Jekyll.
I love Ralph Bates.
I think he's fantastic. On second viewing, I'm like, all right, I see it a lot more. It kind of warmed to me. The monster in this one is actually played by... The monster in this one's actually played by David Prowse, Darth Vader, who would also go on to play the monster in this next film with Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
He would then go on to work with Peter Cushing in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And apparently they became really, really good friends, and he was even at his funeral. Like, he was at Peter Cushing's funeral. As sad as that was, it's nice that they got along so well. So this film, we also have Veronica Carlson returning in a different role.
Yes. Should we talk about the reputation of this film first?
This film doesn't have a good reputation, and I don't think critically or financially did great.
No, it didn't.
And going into this, I saw that, it's more of a comedy. I even watched a video of some critics saying, it's actually more of a parody.
I'd even seen it described as a sex romp. So I had seen this film before. I watched this when I was younger. I guess it was on the Horror Channel maybe once or twice. My memories of the movie were, it's a comedy. Like, it's the funny Frankenstein film. I don't know. I had misremembered it. I'd always liked it, and I was really happy that we were finally going to, rewatch it, and you were going to see it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's not a comedy.
No.
This is not. It's certainly not a sex comedy.
There are humorous things in there, but I wouldn't call this a straight up comedy, and I certainly wouldn't call it a parody. I feel like critics or fans of Hammer, even people that work at Hammer, added these terms to it posthumously to try and justify the film's existence, when in reality it's actually just another adaptation that's slightly more light-hearted.
It has funny moments in it,
but it's not a straight up comedy.
No, it's not. Also, this is considered to be, I think, of all the Frankenstein movies of Hammer, the weakest link. Like,
I wouldn't put this at the bottom.
It's nowhere near the bottom for me. It doesn't even touch it. Like, this is... People didn't like it at the time. Even now, retrospectively, people see it as kind of, it's not the best one. Like, you can kind of ignore Horror of Frankenstein. I think they see the humour as, like, fairly debauched. I think people just have it out for Jimmy Sangster as well. They don't like it because Cushing isn't in it, and they don't like it because Terence Fisher is not directing it. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. People tend to put this and Scars of Dracula together.
I think because they released kind of as a double bill.
As a double bill, and Scars also doesn't have a good reputation.
But we love that one.
But we love Scars.
So this was the first film to solely be funded through British investment. Various British companies funded this one and Scars. And I think you can tell that they weren't having to adhere to American censorship, because both films, I think, are way more sex positive and have way more blood in them. There's quite a bit of sex in this one. Not like explicit.
Graphic, but this is a very horny Frankenstein. This is a different Frankenstein from what Peter Cushing gives us, primarily because they cast a younger actor. You have Ralph Bates, who was a very good looking, much younger man than Peter Cushing, so it's like you got to take advantage of that. Yeah, this is a Frankenstein that is out chasing girls.
Yeah.
He doesn't have respect for women.
No.
But he still wants them.
Should I quickly go through the basics of the story?
Do it.
So the film starts with him in school, disrespecting his teachers because he's bored. He's kind of drawing, doing practicing anatomy, and his teacher...
Amateur anatomy, sir.
His teacher sees it as, like, filth. Veronica Carlson plays Elizabeth, who's kind of a friend of the family. Her dad is a known professor, and she's just in love with Frankenstein. Madly in love. So he goes home, and he wants money for more scientific equipment. His dad says no. We first meet his dad basically sleeping with, the housekeeper, played by...
Kate O'Mara.
Whose name is Elise. One of the more interesting characters in this film, to be fair. I quite liked Elise. He straight up refuses, and he's like, oh, and by the way, you're not going to be going to, like, college, university in Vienna either. Like, basically, you're going to be a baron. You're just going to be a baron.
Yeah, your duty is here at the castle.
He modifies one of his dad's hunting rifles so that when he next goes hunting, it backfires on him and kills him. Then he becomes the man of the house, and he goes off to study for several years. We see him studying. He has a friend called Wilhelm in his class who...
Yes.
I don't think we made notes of that name, but he didn't stay in acting, and he's not great.
No. I have notes for further notes on Wilhelm, which we'll get to.
He gets the dean's daughter pregnant.
Yes, and he very casually just suggests that she have an operation.
He's like, I have my medical degrees, I could just give her an operation. Or you could do it yourself.
Just how casually he says it.
Couldn't I give her a quick operation? Or better still, couldn't you?
Well, you forget who made that remark, young man.
There's
Dean's
zero
like,
empathy, sympathy.
The dean is just like, I'm going to forget you said that.
Yeah.
But he basically just wants him, he's like, oh, term will finish, then we can have the wedding.
Yeah.
So he just leaves. He just leaves his responsibilities behind and goes back home and takes Wilhelm with him to continue studying through the summer.
Well, what are you going to do? Start my holidays early, I suppose.
In other words, run away from your responsibilities.
Certainly.
Yeah, they're going to do some research.
Yeah. There is one funny bit in this that I quite like when he shows Wilhelm his research. He's taken an arm from the biology lab.
Yeah, he's stolen it.
He's stolen it, so he's putting a current through it and it just goes...
Yeah, it's like...
I think that is quite good.
It's like just carry on humour.
Yeah. You can't call this a straight-up comedy. There's just some funny moments.
There's funny moments, and the more rewatches I do of this movie, the more, like, every now and then, like, a line, like a bit of dialogue will just catch me off guard, and I'm like, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, not a comedy.
Again, showing out how interesting this version of Frankenstein is. Not only is he a psychopath, he's an absolute sociopath, but he doesn't just want to be the smartest person in the room like Peter Cushing is. He also wants to be seen as the best person in the room. He wants to literally be above everybody.
Yes.
He has such entitlement, such self-importance, that when he gets home, Elise tells him, I've moved your stuff into your father's bedroom, everything's exactly as it should be. And you're like, everything? And he's basically telling her that he wants the same arrangement with her that his father had, which is so incredibly creepy that he wants to sleep with his dad's side piece.
Yeah.
But again, it's because he wants to be seen as the most important. He's like, if you were good enough for my father, then you're good enough for me, is kind of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes him incredibly unlikable. But Ralph Bates has such a charming performance.
There's such, like, a chilly kind of disdain that Ralph Bates has. Like, his whole demeanour, like, a disdain for everyone around him. And just to compare quickly to Cushing, because we've talked in previous videos how, for the most part, Cushing is portrayed as, like, a very... he portrays psychopathic behaviour, aside from in Evil, where we get a bit more of a sympathetic portrayal of the character. But for the most part, Cushing is a killer. He doesn't have empathy. He doesn't demonstrate empathy for anyone or anything. And he's, got that tunnel vision. And so we have... Bates is obviously, like, yes, sociopathic, but I think we get two sort of different strands of it. It's like, we only see Cushing doing despicable things for the sake of his experiments and for the sake of, creating his creature. Whereas with Ralph Bates, we're seeing this sociopathic behaviour as a young man. Like, even before... Well before the creature is even a thing. Like
murdering his father.
Murders his father, yeah. The way he just casually suggests that his girlfriend get an abortion.
It's not even he doesn't even see her as a girlfriend.
No, it's
and he runs away from that responsibility.
Completely runs away from it, yeah. And I really like that. I like that we're seeing a different side to this character. Again, still portraying that, like that more sociopathic element, but just in a different way. So yeah, I enjoy what the film did.
A scene that kind of perfectly sums this up is when he and Wilhelm first arrive, we see Elizabeth and her father getting robbed by highwaymen.
Yeah.
Wilhelm wants to say, oh, we should go help him. He's like, why?
It's got nothing to do with us.
Well, aren't you going to help? Good heavens, no. It's none of our business.
So Wilhelm goes in, shoots one of the bandits. Frankenstein kind of follows, and he's just so casually just stood against there and just threatens one with a gun. It's like, you know, hold right there. And then still just shoots one.
Shoots one anyway.
So it might not have been his idea. He didn't want to do it, but he's going to take full responsibility
Absolutely.
for it.
Yeah.
So now we start to see the experiments come together. So they start testing it on a tortoise, which they Gustav, which they get from Elizabeth's father. There's a great line saying, "Where on earth do you inject a tortoise?"
Yeah.
And
like, another little funny moment.
But where the hell do you inject a tortoise?
Inject him with what?
A nice, painless death.
bring it back to life, and they think it's failed. It's like, oh, we'll just have to start again. It's like, bit me.
Yeah.
So they bring Gustav back to life, and he's like, right, now we need to do more tests. Well, we're not going to kill him again, are we?
Don't tell me we're going to murder poor old Gustav all over again.
No.
Because they're basically like, look, if this fails, we can just buy him a new tortoise.
Yeah.
If
either
not,
way.
we can just replace him.
Yeah.
So they need to step up to building a man. And something I really enjoy about this film is we see so much more of him gathering the raw materials and assembling things.
Yes.
Then we see, like, he has literally a diagram of parts that are numbered. Like when he wants the professor's brain. At one point, like, he's not really listening to him speaking. He just sees the number on his forehead. He just sees them as parts. And I really, really like all the time that's dedicated to that. Because we don't really see that in the other ones.
No, we don't.
Not to this extent, anyway. And this is where we meet my favourite of the side characters.
I was going to say, yeah.
Played by Dennis Price, who's a grave robber. Who's a grave robbing with his wife.
With his wife. They're a
They
cute
have
little corpsey couple.
She's digging things up. They're having a bit of a picnic. Then he goes in with a saw and cuts the parts off. And we see them several times. They're supplying the parts.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just a delight. Like a delightful grave robbing couple. I wasn't expecting that.
Again, this is where we get a little bit more of, the humour poking its way through. Dennis Price is just an excellent actor. Like, I've seen him appear in lots of British films, British TV shows from that time. He I think delightful is just the best word for it. They're just such a cute little couple because, like, they genuinely love each other. And she's really happy when he suggests, with the money we make from this job, we can maybe have another baby.
Yeah.
And she gets really excited by that. And it's like, it's a weird little, enterprise that they have together.
How excited the guys. There's been a ship crash and all the bodies are laid out in the town hall.
Yeah, gonna be in business for a little while. Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying as well, is that the film does devote so much time to the actual creation of the monster.
And it's not very visceral, but it's like we see all the part, like, he starts drawing them. So right, I'm going to take the hand here and everything.
The hand and the arm,
so we know what he's built.
Yeah.
This creature from. There's a lot of time dedicated to that.
Yes.
Wilhelm naturally turns against him when he has a line that is crossed, and that is all the dead bodies.
So when I said before I wanted to I'll wait for when we talk about Wilhelm. I meant it in the now's probably a good time. Wilhelm is a very dumb character.
Oh, he's so dumb.
And I don't just mean general science intelligence wise. I just mean social cues wise. He's an idiot. And I noticed it on our last rewatch. All the character does, I don't know if you noticed this as well, all he does is ask questions. It's like he is 10 steps behind Frankenstein.
I suppose he's essentially the audience in this. He's an excuse for things to be explained to us what's happening.
Yes, that's true. But even, the whole point of he's agreed to go and spend the summer with Frankenstein doing research. When he gets to the castle, he literally asks, Victor, what is our research?
Victor, what exactly is our work? Research. Well, I know that, but research into what?
It's like he doesn't even know what they're going to be studying, what they're going to be doing.
You must know what Victor's interested in.
Yeah. And then it's like, when Victor when he first notices that Victor is stealing body parts, he's like, why did you do it, Victor? He just asks so many questions. And then when Victor declares that the two of them are going to quit university, we are. It's like all he does is ask stuff that he has no clue of. He's so behind.
I have the strangest feeling that I'm missing something.
It was very grating on this latest rewatch. But it's fine because he's killed off promptly.
Frankenstein kind of agrees to stop the experiment. He's like, oh, can you go take away this piece of equipment? He turns the electricity on and just fries him.
Yeah.
And marks his hands.
Yes, and what I like as well, because again, going back to this idea that this film devotes a lot of time to just like, you know, the build up to the creation, not necessarily like the moment of life itself, is that we know that this creature is comprised of a lot of characters that we have met. It's like, you know, well, we know that
He took the head off the highwayman.
he takes the head of the highwayman and
The hands of Wilhelm.
the hands of Wilhelm.
The brain of the professor.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple of characters that we know that
Build this up.
have built this up, yeah, which again is not something that other films really have done.
Yeah. So during this time, this is when Elise starts getting suspicious. And basically kind of blackmails him. Obviously, she's still sleeping with him.
Yeah.
She knows that obviously was like, well, why did Wilhelm leave without any of his stuff?
Oh yeah, she knows something
She knows-
diabolical is going on.
She knows that something's up and she's using it
Yeah,
against him.
yeah.
Because she basically, I think she wants to be lady of the house.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Then the actual creature, which I'm surprised, apparently the makeup took hours to do, but it's such a simple creature design that I can't see how it would have taken so long.
Yeah.
I like it,
I do.
even though it's quite cheap and lazy. David Prowse is doing a lot of work by just being tall and buff.
He is huge. This is a bulky man.
He's got like faint scars and
But it's just like, it literally looks like lipstick.
so I
It's just been
don't
drawn
know
on.
why it took so long. 'Cause he
Yeah.
said the suit for the second one took half an hour to get into, whereas it was like 2 or 3 hours for. I'm like, where was this time spent?
They put like some prosthetics on his head.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all I can tell. But I do enjoy the simplicity of it.
I
Very
love it
much
when the
so.
creature is resurrected. Like at first, Frankenstein thinks it's failed. He turns the electricity on when the tower gets struck by lightning as well. So he thinks it's just overloaded. And we see the creature like let me puff his chest to pop
Yeah.
out. And you said it's amazing. Like Frankenstein having no social cues either goes up to this creature and just goes, "Baron Frankenstein, how do you do?" And the creature,
Yes.
"Arr!"
Rah!
I'm Victor Frankenstein.
Goes on a bit of a rampage.
That to me is a unique first interaction with the creature. Again, it's not something that we've seen in previous films. It's like there's no, oh my god, I've done it, I'm incredible. It's just very simple. Hello, how'd you do?
Well, the brain was also damaged, like in the original
There's a
film.
piece of glass that goes in it.
Yeah. So he's poisoned the professor in order to get his brain.
Yeah. So the brain is.
We
yeah.
should probably talk about Veronica Carson.
Yeah, we can do.
Bear in mind, this is the movie. She already started filming this film when she was asked to do, I think it was Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, she was going to be a Bond girl.
She was going to be we said in the last video, she's the Bond girl that never was. And when you look at it, it's like, yeah, I could totally see her being a Bond girl.
Yeah.
And when you look at the trivia, she says, oh, she's perfectly happily working on a horror film. When you watch, like, the behind the scenes, like, the little documentary that comes with this Blu-ray, I think you can tell when she's saying that she is quite disappointed that she didn't. 'Cause I think she really enjoyed working on the previous one. But the character of Elizabeth is such a nothing character in this film. It's such a downgrade from what she had in the previous one.
She is a bit of a pathetic character.
I think she really liked working with Ralph.
In the interview that she gives, like the retrospective interview, it seems like she was a bit disappointed that Jimmy Sangster seemed to be like regressing the story a bit. Like she didn't seem to like the more humorous elements to the story. So it's not like she had a bad time working on the movie. She was just disappointed with like where they took.
Consider how interesting it was previously.
Yeah, because bearing in mind her last outing in a Frankenstein movie was Must Be Destroyed, where hands down, like we get one of, if not the most interesting female characters of the entire series in that film, played by Veronica. So then when she comes back and she basically just plays a lovesick, like kind of pathetic character, yeah, it is a bit of a come down. But it's a bit of a shame. We've always talked about how the Frankenstein films don't really know what to do with female characters. So yeah, it's a bit of a regression for Veronica, certainly. But then Elise is a
Way
very
more
interesting character.
She's essentially just a better version of the maid character from Curse. Like she has a bit more urgency about her. She's a bit more cunning about it.
Yeah, and like with Elizabeth and Elise, you get that classic dichotomy of, you know, like the pure innocent girl and, you know, like the more out there sexually active blackmail-y kind of girl. Like you get the classic dichotomy of
I think
that.
the way Elise looks at it, she's paid very well for what she does. She also gets to share his bed,
She gets a
but
good
then at the
deal
same
out of it.
time has to do the tidying and. Well, she doesn't even have to do cooking. He hires Stefan, who's another old friend, to do cooking because Elise can't cook
Yeah,
very well. Stefan gets blamed for
yeah,
the creature's first set of murders.
yeah.
So with Elizabeth, After her father is poisoned and passed away, we have a funeral. We see Dennis Price going in with his little bag afterwards, ready to go take the brain.
Yeah.
Her father owed a lot of money, which, well, at the time, and this was like 12k, so that seems to be a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, she cannot pay that back.
So basically, she's lost all of her possessions, the house, so she goes to stay with Frankenstein, and Elise is not happy. Well, how long is she going to stay here for?
Yeah.
And you see Frankenstein's getting annoyed at her.
Yeah, she's becoming an inconvenience now.
Yeah, because she's basically acting more like his wife.
Yeah, which is
at
not
this
what he
point,
wants.
Which is not what he wants. You can tell Elizabeth has always wanted to marry Frankenstein.
Yes.
So when Frankenstein has decided Elise is going to be out of the picture soon, this is so insulting to Elizabeth. He says, how would you like to take up her position? He offers her a job instead of marriage.
You can be my housekeeper.
How would you like to take her place?
As your housekeeper?
After all, you need a job. You told me so yourself.
Clean
You need
for
a place
me.
to stay, you need money.
You can do my dusting. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
And she says yes to it.
She doesn't really have a choice.
She doesn't really have a choice, but it's like, oh.
But we also know
Okay.
there's another character she said no to marrying like 17 times. That's like the chief of police. So she did have other options outside of Frankenstein, but that's kind of her entire role in this film. Apart from later on see the creature and get scared and pass out.
Yeah.
That is her entire role in this film, and it's sad
It
because
is sad.
she's a talented actress.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ultimately, her character exists to further highlight the flaws of Victor. You know, it's like she's a beautiful woman. She clearly adores him. She'll do anything for him, and he just couldn't be less interested in her if he tried. And that is literally all the character exists for. And it is something that we've seen in previous Frankenstein movies, but there we go.
So Elise is, well, locked in a cell down in the basement with the creature and is killed off
Yeah.
for kind of overstepping the bounds because she essentially threatens. She made some mistake of threatening him, but doesn't really have the evidence. I love the sign. He goes, well, do you want to see what my research is? If you're going to be going to the police, you should know what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, in this movie, characters are not smart.
No.
So, like, Wilhelm obviously tells Victor that he's going to go to the police and report him for stealing all the bodies. You know, just says this to his face. He tells him his plan, which is what gets him killed. The grave robber's wife, when her husband disappears after he's killed, she goes to the house and she says, have you seen my husband? Victor says no. And
I'm
she
going to
says,
have to go to the police then. I
Stop.
hate the police, but I'm going to have to.
stop telling Victor that you're going to go to the police. Just go to the police. Don't tell him. And then, yeah, Elise blackmails him with nothing. Like, she's got no evidence. Like, it's like, play your cards well, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
He sends,
People aren't smart in this film.
yeah, he sends the creature after Grave Robber's wife.
Yeah. Love it.
I looked at the several times where the creature just keeps breaking out, which just keeps smashing through doors.
So this is a point, actually, again, last rewatch I cottoned on. I actually think this film explores, maybe inadvertently, more of the parental-child relationship between Creature and Frankenstein. Again, in a way that we didn't really see with Cushing and the Creature. Cushing's Frankenstein has a very clinical, scientific approach to his creations. And Bates is similar. Like, there's no affection, like, there's no sentiment, obviously.
He's like
But-
the distant father with a disobedient child.
Exactly, like, the dynamic between them. It's like he's been thrusted into parenthood, was totally unprepared for it, and now has to deal with a very disobedient, thuggish child. And he
Yeah.
has no patience for it.
Yeah. So when he's holding, the passed out Elizabeth, he's like, give her to me. And the creature goes, give her to me.
I said, give her to me. Stay there.
I do like that
Yeah,
kind of arrangement. The creature's also as scared of a child,
yes.
which is ultimately what leads to the downfall of the film, is attracting the police to the house.
Yeah, the creature goes on the loose, kills a randomer that's just walking around. Stefan the cook gets blamed for it, but basically all roads are kind of leading back to Frankenstein's castle. Just draws too much attention to him.
I like how the creature has to be knocked out to go back the first time, but then when he sends out to kill the grave robber's wife, the creature just naturally goes back,
Just goes
but then
back.
breaks out again.
Yeah,
The creature's just all over. He has no control over his child.
no.
And let's be fair, he's a big hulking mass. You're not stopping
No one
David
has a
Prowse.
chance against David Prowse. Absolutely not. The ending of this movie, I know is how does one describe the ending of this?
So the walls are closing in. Elizabeth has passed out and has got scared. Creatures picked her up.
Yes.
Frankenstein takes her, puts her in a room. She instantly wakes up again. The police have turned up because the father and the little girl who last saw the creature went to get them. So he has a little acid tank inside his lab, which is where he's disposing of the things he doesn't need. That's how he gets rid of the grave robber. We assume the creature is hiding in there.
Yeah.
So he's basically said, I have no idea. I didn't hear any screaming. What creature? He's like, what's going on? Why are you bothering me with this? Like,
Yeah.
Little girl, stop. This little girl keeps touching all of his things.
Yeah, which is annoying.
And she ends up turning on the acid bath and just melts the creature.
Little girl, don't do that.
Very well, Victor.
And Frankenstein obviously can't show too much emotion because there's an audience there, but you can see he is crushed.
It literally ends him just like, and the police have gone to get a warrant. So in theory, Elise's body is still in the basement. So it's ambiguous whether or not he's going to get away with this or not. I can't imagine he probably will, since he's got away with most things in this film. I remember being a bit disappointed by the ending, and
it just ends on a very random moment.
Yeah, I know this is probably intended to be a funny ending. I just found it a bit anticlimactic.
I understand that. I think again, you can look at the ending in one of two ways. It's either he is going to get away with this scot-free and he's probably just going to try again, or he's going to get arrested because there's no time between the police getting the warrant and returning that he can hide all the bodies and hide all his experiments and notes and things.
Yeah.
So
it's
a bit ambiguous, the ending.
Yeah, you could just continue on as before. I find it funny that David Prowse apparently did go to try and get cast as a Hammer horror monster. He literally knocked on the office of James Carreras.
Yeah.
Said, "Oh, can I speak to Mr. Carreras, please?" It's like, "That I am Mr. Carreras." "Oh, I want to be a monster in one of your movies," and Barry got told, "Absolutely not."
Just got the
But then Jimmy Sangster rang him up a few years later to play it.
Go Jimmy.
Because I believe in between these two films, was that when Michael Carreras bought over the company? I believe that was around 71, 72.
I don't know for sure.
I believe for this one, Michael Carreras was in charge, and it's also, as the company's starting to go down. Overall, I did enjoy the horror of Frankenstein. It's not bottom for me. I'd say, in terms of rewatchability, I think this is a very rewatchable film. Because of the slightly more comedic moments, a very youthful and energetic performance by Ralph Bates, and even though he is a psychopath and everything he's doing is wrong and evil, he's so charming.
He's fun to watch.
I think David Prowse is a fun monster.
Yes.
As well. Obviously, we have evil at the bottom. It's above evil.
Yes.
And then did we have the original one? We had Curse, didn't we?
Evil, Curse.
I would put this just above Curse. I
would put it above Curse. I would rather watch this than rewatch Curse. I've seen this film many times. I've seen Curse a lot as well, but I enjoy the humour of horror when it's there. I love the grave robbing couple. I adore Ralph Bates. I wish he was at the helm of more Hammer projects. Yeah. This to me is just a fun adaptation of the Frankenstein story.
It's just another adaptation, just done by the same company. And
I enjoy watching this a lot.
I would have watched sequels with him in. I say it's a very easy rewatchable film.
I just forgot there was another joke I liked where one of the many times where Victor and Elise are in bed together and he's on top of her and mid-sex, and someone there's knocking on the main door downstairs, and Elise just says something like, there's knocking on the front door.
Someone at the door.
It's just the fact that
bit of an innuendo there.
A couple that it's just the fact that he's on top of her and she says that. Just a little Frankenstein humour for you.
Ralph Bates seems to be one of those actors where everyone only ever speaks highly of working with him.
Yeah, we lost him too soon.
Really did, and obviously you can tell Veronica Carlson is disappointed with the film and what she got, but as long as she still had fun making it.
Yeah. I'm upset that this film is considered the worst one of all the films, and I think people are just biased because of the casting and because it wasn't Terrence directing it. I genuinely feel like if like if anyone watching feels the same way, please give it a rewatch. It is fun, but it is a bit weird considering, you know, like they cast Ralph Bates to try and inject a new bit of life and, you know, like a bit of young energy into Frankenstein.
Which is interesting because this is right before, obviously, Dracula AD 72. And say, right, let's bring Dracula into the modern day. So we've got modern young people in this.
But
trying to move with the times.
But then the next Frankenstein film.
But then the next one, yeah.
They didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
So my last
let's
note,
get Cushing back.
My last note on this one, kind of mentioned at the beginning, it's interesting it was paired with Scars of Dracula, which also isn't seen very fondly, but it's like one of my favourite Dracula films. I love Scars of Dracula.
We should do a double bill of Scars and horror Frankenstein.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Several years later, well, this was actually filmed
1972.
in 1972. And it basically, from what I've been able to find, it only didn't get released because there was just too many gothic horror films scheduled to come out. So it got pushed back.
They filmed it in the latter half of 72. It went into post-production very quickly, so the film was in the can, like it was ready to go. But they had a lot of trouble finding a distributor as well, getting it out there.
Yeah.
So they waited.
Unfortunately, the film ended up coming out 2 months after The Exorcist, which that seems to be, because I can't remember, there was 2 other companies, like big British companies that were making horror at the time. Amicus and
there's another one I can't remember.
Yeah, that basically they all kind of died in the 70s.
Yeah.
The Exorcist is a big part of that, just the lack of interest in British horror. We'd already started to see it with horror and Scars, like American audiences not really being interested and distributors not really being interested. It was even more prevalent after The Exorcist. Young people at the time wanted something different, and William Friedkin gave them that.
Yes.
So then to suddenly go back to comfortable, gothic British horror, it's considered a failure, but it did still make money.
Yeah.
This one. The biggest thing we have to point out, and you can literally see on the front cover, is how old Peter Cushing is looking. In 1971, Peter Cushing's wife passed away. It all but destroyed him. Literally, for Dracula AD 72, he ended up having to play a character's grandfather instead of father just because he aged so much so quickly. Because in behind the scenes, this one, all he would do was like smoke his cigarettes and drink black coffee.
Madeline Smith, who is in this film as well, she remarked that when she first met Peter Cushing, she actually found like him quite scary to look at because, you know, his cheekbones, it's so sunken.
He looks like a skeleton.
He looks very skeletal, yeah, and
he was
poor
basically
man just aged drastically by
yeah,
the loss of his wife.
He lost his rock, essentially.
Yeah.
And he just threw himself into work. That's how we got him back for Dracula AD 72. He must have filmed this right after AD 72. Obviously then did like Satanic Rites, Seven Golden Vampires.
Yeah.
He just wanted to work.
You know, and full respect to him. I also have to say, the wig is not doing anything for him.
He designed the wig and he wore it in another film, but he later regretted it. He said it made him look like a theatre star. But, and I've got it on the page of this book as well, if you look at the front page of the script, because he's an avid note taker and he had so many notes on like things to do for the character, like he never sniffs, the ruffles must always be outside of the coat sleeves except during surgery,
puff out the coat tails,
never grab the back of furniture. He made so many notes on what he remembered from the character over the years.
Make sure your mouth is always closed.
The films might not follow a particular continuity, but he did.
Yeah.
So I suppose we have to quickly talk about the continuity of the... Do I go for the plot before the continuity?
What continuity?
Well, looking at the style of this film with the ruffles, it's definitely set during the Regency era.
Yes, which predates all of the previous Frankenstein
We haven't
movies.
seen that era since Curse. All the others have definitely been set in like the 1890s.
Yeah.
But this definitely follows on from the previous ones, roughly, because we have the injured hands, which they kind of forgot about the injured hands in Must Be Destroyed, but they're very prevalent in Created Woman.
Yeah.
It's like, where does this fit in? We see a high-powered hose that's used to wash down a character that didn't exist until the 1970s. We were watching behind the scenes. I think it's in this... there's a book that came with this Blu-ray.
Yes.
And by people often debated, like, when on earth is this film set?
It's clearly set in the Regency period, which I can accept. But that just basically means that it is not a continuation of any of the previous films. It can't be, otherwise, you know, we've gone back in time. However, but there are bits of the previous films that are included in this. So it's completely self-contradictory. It doesn't really make sense. You'll give yourself a headache if you try and make it make sense. So
just accept it.
Just accept it. We're in the Regency period for this one.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But this film, the Regency period, does give this film a style, and so does the Asylum backdrop. And Peter Cushing, even though he was in ill health
Yes.
and obviously extremely depressed, and I think that gives him a strange, harrowing performance. Like, he still puts it all into it, but the performance is definitely different. He is a Frankenstein that's been through some stuff.
Yeah.
He always tries his hardest in anything that he
Yeah,
ever did. And
Definitely.
Terence Fisher came back, and this was his final film
Yeah,
that he
was
directed.
not well doing that.
No, and he had an incredibly bad back. That apparently created like a rest for him, which is basically like a plank of
Yeah.
wood that he could lean against. So basically, we have two people that shouldn't really have been working
Yeah.
in a desperate attempt to keep the studio going.
Yeah.
Especially now under Michael Carreras. And with all the things lined up, you'd think this movie would basically be a bit of a catastrophe. I kind of like this film.
Oh, this is great.
So in this one, we open with grave robbery with Patrick Troughton making a reappearance.
He returns, yeah.
Yeah.
Very short, small role, but always nice to see Patrick Troughton.
It's always great. Was he last in Scars? I think we last saw him last
Yeah.
time we talked about him. I mean, he's always great. It's a very small role.
Yeah.
We see some hands doing some, experiments with eyes and
Yes.
in a small house. We think, oh, is this Frankenstein? When we see a book, which is the collected works of Baron Frankenstein.
Yeah, he's published a little bit
At some
more.
point, he's not only has he survived. If we're following this, it's meant to just be a sequel to the last time we saw him. He survived the fire,
Yeah.
apart from burning his hands again, and he's went back in time and also published books.
Been a busy man.
He's been a busy man.
But yeah, he's...
And this is where we meet Dr. Is it Simon Helder?
Yeah, well done.
Oh yeah, I got his name right. What's the actor?
Shane Bryant.
Shane Bryant.
Let me just triple check. Yes.
Who had previously appeared in, I believe it was Captain Kronos. I think he was in
Yeah.
as not the main character,
Vampire Hunter.
which I have that. We need to watch it.
Yeah, would like to.
He's excellent in this film. Actually, I really like. So we see it's him that is doing the experiments.
Yeah.
He's researching Frankenstein's
He wants-
old experiments, and he wants to recreate them.
Yeah. A sort of disciple of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
I guess. An admirer.
So he gets arrested.
Yeah, of course.
He basically gets convicted for sorcery.
He literally does, yeah.
Yeah.
He gets arrested.
The court says, the last person I was here for this was someone else that was done for Frankenstein for very
Yes.
similar things. And he's like, oh, Baron Frankenstein. So he has to commit to the same asylum that Frankenstein was committed to that we've not seen.
Yes.
The asylum backdrop really does make this film. I think it pulls from what we really liked about Revenge, which was the hospital setting.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's always been like either a laboratory or a house.
Yeah. There is a repetitiveness with all of the Frankenstein movies, and that's not pulling anything away, but with every film, for the majority of them, we're in a fancy castle, we're in a fancy chateau, we're in a laboratory, and there is there's routine. I didn't realise how necessary a change of scene was until we got to the asylum.
Yeah.
And actually seeing the inmates.
There's such an interesting... there's a character that believes he is God. And there's a woman that she's called, Chatter, because that's all she does is just keep chattering.
Chattering away.
And
yeah.
it makes the film feel very busy with lots and lots of characters
Yeah.
with an interesting setting. It's so refreshing.
I don't know if you saw it or clocked. There's a character, an inmate in the asylum as well. We don't ever linger on him. We don't get to find out why he's been
Oh, it's
admitted.
cross-dressing.
Yeah.
When you look at the period that it's set in, that probably is accurate that person would have been...
He's been admitted presumably because he's homosexual.
Yeah, absolutely born in the wrong period. That character, very unfortunate for him.
It's just there, for you to
We
notice, but
yeah.
we don't dwell on it. But
You occasionally see him pop up. I don't know if that would be if it's a him or they class themselves as a her,
yeah,
because we don't linger on them enough. But it's enough to fill in the background with interesting looking characters.
Yeah.
There's literally one character that's just laughs like a witch.
yeah, it's got a
Cackles.
cackle. The change of scene is it's welcome. At this point, I really really liked it.
Simon, I love his when he enters. He's still in all his nice gown. He's handcuffed because we have a couple of brutish guards, and he basically forces his way into the director's office. And in the
Yeah.
credits, he was called the director. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a name.
Who the devil are you?
Dr. Helder.
A doctor? Oh, they didn't tell me they were sending a doctor.
And he tricks him into thinking he's just a doctor that's been sent
Yeah.
there. And when the doctor realizes that he's a patient,
He's
he's
a patient.
appalled, and he's clearly an alcoholic. He's also clearly sleeping with patients.
Yes.
So we find out what happened to Frankenstein. That basically he was here and he died, and he's buried in the
In the cemetery.
in the cemetery. At first I thought like because the wide shot of the asylum is a miniature, and the first I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. Then as it goes on, I'm like, why does it start looking worse and worse? It's more and more miniature like. So there is a tradition with new entrants where they basically hose them down, and it's really aggressive. Like you see like scrapes along his back and stuff like that.
I think it's a punishment as well by the guards because they don't like how superior Helder is.
Yeah.
You know, like he's throwing his weight around, and he's clearly, you know, like a dandy, like he comes from money. And I think the guards take an instant dislike to that. So there's a little bit of, right, we're going to put you in your place.
Yeah.
And it really is aggressive.
And that's when Frankenstein appears. And the camera movement is the same as it was when Frankenstein's creature was first revealed in the original film.
Yes.
The way he just stood in the doorway, I love it.
And everyone stops.
They're all afraid of him.
When Carl Victor arrives, but his line, his line is, "Stop. There's nothing more for anyone to see. It's over now."
It's mirrored at the end of the film, which is
we'll come
beautifully
back to it.
done.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is he's found out something about the way the asylum was being run and is blackmailing the director. So they faked his death and he came on as the resident surgeon.
Yes.
Dr. Carl Victor. So we've had, he never strays too far from his name. So in Revenge, he was Dr. Stein, and by the end of the movie, he's Dr. Franken, and now he's Dr. Victor. Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's literally used his entire name. I'm surprised he's not been Dr. Baron at some point.
Throughout the franchise, there's been a lot of Carls and there's been a lot of Hans.
Now he is the Carl. There is a Hans in this as well.
There is a Hans, yeah. It's a little bit confusing.
I loved it as soon as we realised, oh my god, he's Carl Victor.
Yeah, I know.
Baron Frankenstein is dead. He is buried in the courtyard out there. Is that clear?
Is that out of respect for all of his previous Carls in his life?
Fucking knows.
I couldn't help but laugh out loud when I saw that.
Like,
He's literally been...
Here we go again.
Yeah.
We're just going to call him
Dr. Stein, Dr. Franken, and Dr. Carl. The creative pseudonyms for Frankenstein.
Exactly. The very imaginative pseudonyms.
So he convinces the director to let him take Simon on as his assistant. Because he wants him to take on the rounds so that he can continue with his own work.
His secret experiments.
Yes, his secret experiments. He has his own patients that he wants to keep that all marked as dangerous.
Yes. Have all been submitted for different reasons.
You die off quite quickly.
Yeah. Homicidal tendencies.
Yeah. And we see one cell's empty, the bars have been ripped apart. But in the middle of the night, people hear what sounds like an animal cry. Simon, knowing the work of Frankenstein, knows he's not going to stop doing his experiments. And he wants to be a part of it because it's his hero.
Yeah.
We also have Madeline Smith plays a character, some of the patients call her Angel, but what's her actual name? Sarah. She's
literally the angel in the asylum. She's mute.
Talk about regression. She does get more interesting towards the end. I know they did want Carolyn Munro to do the role, but she didn't want to do a topless scene, but there's no topless scenes in this.
I feel like...
But then,
okay.
But then Madeline Smith was topless in Lust for a Vampire or Vampire, one of those two.
Yeah.
But she's actually extremely modest in this one.
I think Madeline Smith... I love Caroline Munro, but I think Madeline Smith physically suits the role a little bit better. But yeah, she's mute.
But she's basically the assistant. Because Frankenstein's hands are so damaged, she has to do the surgery for him. So the surgery that we see is not great because she's not a doctor.
Yes.
But she's kind of like... What was that line you read about her? About how she's kind of overseas...
Oh, God. It was... I think it was basically just kind of alluding to... So, you know, she gives, like, the care and, like, the attentiveness in a way that... Like he never can. Like she offers the patients comfort just by her her demeanor and her existence basically in a way that's just like Frankenstein is just not in his nature to give that.
Simon discovers a secret room in Frankenstein's office that leads into his laboratory.
Yes.
Where we find his most recent experiment.
Yes.
Played by David Prowse. Now, you'd be mistaken. I often thought going into this that the creature was some type of animal, but no, it's a... How do they describe it? Like
Neolithic.
It's a Neolithic man who was one of the patients that jumped to his death. You point out something interesting. At the beginning, he's not actually creating a new creature. So this Neolithic man has like basically the face of a caveman, extremely strong, extremely hairy, but human. But survived the fall, but was in agony because all his bones were broken.
Yeah.
So Frankenstein gave him a massive painkiller that basically knocked him out for days so he could be buried, dug him back up again, and has been keeping him alive whilst he replaces his parts. So we see there's one of the patients that carves something.
He's a sculptor.
Sarah. Sculptor.
Artistic.
When Simon looks and sees his funeral, the coffin falls and his hands are missing.
Yes.
Those hands are now on the creature.
Yeah.
And this is where he points out, oh, the work. I heard you were a great surgeon, but this work it's subpar. It's going to fail. And he's like, I can't do it because of these hands.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm a surgeon. I'll do it. So he starts taking over that side of it.
Yeah.
There's a great scene where he's trying to do it. He's struggling to hold something. So Frankenstein's like, damn these hands. And he goes and bites something to hold it in place. But they used real blood in these scenes.
Yeah.
They would often use a former blood bank blood that wasn't suitable for transfusions anymore. Like, blood goes out of date.
Yeah.
And then he, it's great prop work. Drinks some water, washes his mouth out, spits it out, wipes his mouth.
Yeah.
Dedication to the scene.
yeah,
And apparently
definitely.
that was Cushing's idea.
The creature in this one is interesting for a few different reasons. So yeah, one of it's different in the sense that he's not resurrected anyone back from the dead. The Neolithic, like Neanderthal-esque man never died. He's just kept him alive and, somewhat repaired his body and stitching other body parts to him. But I kind of understand why they wanted a more, traditional monster-looking creature.
Yeah. But I think they could have just went for an ape.
I think, honestly...
And he could have replaced a human brain into an ape's body or something.
Having, a Neolithic man, I think is just a bit silly. The makeup and the suit is so ridiculous. You can't tell me that
It looks very rubbery in the joints.
Yeah,
And I bet
no human being looks like this. You can't make me believe that this is a man that was ever alive. It's just a bit silly.
The costume designer was never happy with the costume. Said the only bit of the costume they were happy with was the feet, and David Prowse said, "Oh, because they were my feet."
Yeah,
It's like they were just my natural feet.
yeah. Again, I understand the filmmaker's point of view. They want something that looks maybe a little traditionally more scary, because we'd had a few films where the
Very
monster...
human-looking monster.
Oh, just very human, yeah. So I understand why they wanted to go back to a monstrous-looking creature. But then I'm also thinking of it from Frankenstein's point of view. He wants to be recognised, and he wants his work to be recognised. I don't understand the mentality of someone where he thinks he can take this creature to, a board, and they will applaud him for the work that they've done. Look at it!
Yeah.
This thing should not be alive. It's in what way will he be applauded for this?
Yeah.
So I question that, but anyway.
Yeah, so he wants to replace its brain. So we meet another professor who was essentially in there for just being a bit anxious. Plays incredible violin, is incredible mathematics.
Genius.
But apparently had a bit of a violent tendency.
Yes.
When he was in there, he had an incident. This is something that's interesting. Simon has a line that he won't murder people. And Frank says, I wouldn't expect you to. But then mysteriously, the professor hangs himself by the strings of his own violin. Very violent movie, this one. This Blu-ray actually has 2 aspect ratios as well, but a lot of the cut scenes for censorship have been added back in again.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell where they are. And they're just more extended versions of these deaths. Frankenstein basically left a note, the medical diagnosis in his cell that basically said he was uncurable, and that's what led to him committing suicide. So they're taking his brain and putting it in the Neolithic body. So now it becomes a more traditional monster.
Yeah, we've seen this before in Frankenstein movies. The brain of a genius in the body of another man.
The brain removal scene is incredible.
And yes,
it's so detailed.
It's very we've not seen that in a.
It was a real animal brain they used for, and apparently it's stuck.
It's we see cutting around the scalp, removing that, and we see cutting around the nerves, and then the eventual scooping out of the brain. We've not seen that in any Frankenstein movie in this Hammer series, so I love that. They really upped the gore quotient.
Yeah, which
Definitely.
isn't, that's not what we need to make a good Frankenstein movie, but
it's welcome.
It is welcome. We also get to see the creature with the new brain. I can't remember the professor's name. Durandal. Waking up. It's something that we loved about Must Be Destroyed, is the creature waking up on their own.
Assimilate.
Because imagine waking up in that body as well.
That's not your own.
And it's
that particular body, yeah.
Yeah, it's he wanted to die.
Yeah.
And he can't even... I said, because he picks up the violin, I'm like, oh, he's not going to be able to play it. He doesn't even try. He just destroys it.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for this creature because he does not want to be alive. It's interesting because you can tell David Prowse is struggling to move the mouth of the costume.
It doesn't move at all.
It basically doesn't move.
We talked about this in Frankenstein Created Woman. You know, like a huge reason why the experiment was always doomed to fail is because he was playing around with the body and the soul of two human beings that, you know, like, didn't really want to live. And it's a similar thing here. It's like the Neolithic man tried to kill himself by jumping out of the asylum window. It didn't work. Durandal did
Also
kill
killed
himself. He successfully killed himself. You know, like he's brought effectively two people back that don't want to be around. It's the fatal flaw of Frankenstein. It's like he never understands the empathy element.
You know, he tries to get him to do his maths, and he can do the maths, but you can see it's like he can't write properly and stuff like that. And Frankenstein assumes that it's all a failure, whereas Simon thinks it might be more like psychological.
Yeah.
Then maybe more time to adjust. In turn, as Frankenstein says, because the creature at one point does kind of go a bit mad and tries to stab him with a broken bottle, which is something that the Neolithic man used to do. His favourite way of killing people was broken glass. He's like, it's the body that's corrupting the brain.
The body,
which is something that we kind of saw in Frankenstein Created Woman.
Yeah.
But that was more like the body being corrupted by the different soul.
Yeah.
And this is where the movie takes a bit of a weird turn for me, because Frankenstein's solution in this is to... He's like, oh, well, we must breed him, then we can get the essence of the man. Oh, we'll use Sarah. And I'm like, from a writing standpoint, 7 movies in, I get why they included this, because they were running out of areas to go other than trying to breed the creature.
If we could just capture the essence of the man now, before it's too late.
The essence?
If everything could be reborn, unblemished.
But who with?
Sarah.
Sarah?
She is not subnormal, either physically or mentally.
And this is the line that Simon also won't cross. There's no romantic relationship between him and Sarah, but he's like, this is just too far. Isn't there lines that you can't separate science from humanity?
Yeah, Simon said to him, you cannot divorce science from humanity.
Yeah.
And that's the fundamental difference between Helder and Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's also like Simon he's the true successor to Frankenstein. He's probably the assistant he's always dreamed of, but he wants to be part of humanity in a way Frankenstein never really cared.
He's the better Frankenstein.
Yeah. And, well, we do, Sarah can speak, and we find out what the traumatic event was. This is the reveal from Frankenstein when you realise he's kind of orchestrated a lot of what's gone on to get the parts that he needed. The reason why Sarah can't speak is because she was sexually assaulted by her father.
Her father? That is why Professor Durandal attacked him. He found out what he had done to Sarah.
He attempted to...
Yeah, and she went mute because of that.
Because of the trauma of it.
And
but who's her father?
Simon threatens to go to the director, and he's like, oh, that won't work. The director's her father.
Yeah.
So that is the dirt that Frankenstein got on the director that allows him to have this whole situation. And the very violent outburst that the professor had, which got him deemed as uncurable and in Frankenstein's special ward, is that he found out, probably through Frankenstein, either when he was a patient or as a doctor, he found out about it, so he attacked the director because he is very protective over this girl. That's what he calls it, his angel. It's like his favorite part of his day is seeing this girl.
Her.
Yeah,
he
literally wrote music for and it's not in like a creepy or a sexual way. No. I think it's just like the light in a very dark world for him.
Yeah, she is.
So when he found out what the director did to her, he sought revenge.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it's like that is such a human response.
Yeah.
That Frankenstein has taken advantage of and led to this scenario that we're in.
Absolutely.
That reveal, I think, is fantastic. Like it's
good.
so juicy.
It's also, like the actor that plays the director of the asylum. I don't know who he is, but he does a really great job. Like
being a bumbling alcoholic.
He's he's obviously really perverse and he's disgusting, but the performance is great.
Yeah.
Such a little coward as well. And there is like the element as well when you first meet him, because he seems to be like a very nervous disposition himself. It's like, you should be like you're almost like an inmate yourself. Like you have no business running this.
And it's because he's scared of Frankenstein.
He's scared of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just going back to something that you said before about like the whole Frankenstein wants Sarah to mate with the creature.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing before?
Yeah.
I do think this whole reveal and then her speaking a little bit does make her a way more interesting character than just It's not as bad as the mute girl in Evil.
Let him go.
It justifies
Because she has more... And she also has
speaking
stuff to do.
Yeah. It just, like, yes. I think this trumps the girl in Evil by a long shot, because... Yes, even though she's quiet and she just kind of moves through the asylum with, like, you know, this angelic grace, she clearly is an important character, you know, like...
Well, even for the creature, that recognition, when he goes, Angel, recognises her.
And she means something to the inmates, you know, like, she is important to the story.
It's just a shame she's mute for most of it.
But the muteness I can forgive, because ultimately, like, there's cause and effect. You know, like, we're told why. It's not just like the filmmakers thought, nah, she doesn't need to speak. She's not important. So it's different. And yeah, we do learn that she can speak. She just chooses her moments very, very carefully. So she's a better character than the girl from Evil.
Yeah.
She has purpose. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the mating thing, because it does feel like it comes out of nowhere a little bit, and thankfully it never amounts to anything. But I do just think that there is a crazy irony in, like, for all the, you know, experimentation that he does in, like, trying to, you know, like, effectively create life, create man, his solution is to just resort to
sex,
procreation. Like, you know, let's just make them have sex the old-fashioned way. Let's create life, like, you know, the traditional way. Anyway.
Yeah, you're completely right. Like I said, from a writing standpoint, I generally think they were like, this is the only bridge we've not crossed with this creature.
Yeah.
Simon just straight up tells the creature, because he's starting to lose himself a little bit, like he's just slowly turning more into the Neolithic man than he is the professor.
Yeah.
And he tries to tell him what happens, and the creature gets out. Tries to attack Simon. Simon locks him in the room. This is when Sarah speaks for the first time. Frankenstein then comes back, opens up, goes in the room, and then it cuts away for a little bit. We don't see Frankenstein again until later, and he's got blood all up his arm. But the creature now escapes and goes on this really fun rampage. And I think that the asylum setting is full display here. Like, he's tearing open the graves, looking for his own body. He's looking. Yeah. The professor is looking for his body. He doesn't even know what he's going to do with it.
No.
And the director's brought a date home, and you can see him. He's like, oh my god! Orders the guards to get some guns. All the inmates are out, and they're all going crazy. The Neolithic man comes in. He's killed the director, smashes through the window, completely kills her, because this is the man that sexually assaulted his angel.
Yeah.
So the professor is still in there.
Yeah.
Rips down some bars, and it feels like a monstrous rampage. Elves of Deer Prowse is obviously massive.
Yeah.
Guards shoot him a couple of times, and it's actually the inmates that turn on him and tear him to pieces.
Literally tear him to pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. This probably would have been a good time for Sarah to speak, because she's there with Simon.
Yeah, but she doesn't.
She doesn't.
She just doesn't. She just kind of watches in terror.
You could see it as the nice thing to do is just let the creature die. Then Frankenstein turns up and mirrors how he enters the film, followed by a line of, "There's now a use for that hose of yours."
Yeah.
Go back to your rooms. There's nothing more for you to see. Now you can use your hose.
And again, we get the those lines repeated of, "It's over. There's nothing more for you to see." Which, considering this is the final Frankenstein movie, I think those lines are quite prophetic and profound.
I actually weirdly saw that as, is Frankenstein now done? But he's not. You read it as, because the next scene, he goes back to the lab, he starts sweeping and says, well, we'll just have to try again. Obviously, we've got plenty of time to decide what direction we're going to go, get fresh parts. And you can see Simon's like, do you really want to
We're trying this again?
Well, that's of no importance. Best thing that could have happened to him. He was of no use to us or to himself.
There's a great shot where the camera kind of like dollies out into from the cage of the monster, and Frankenstein himself is in the bars.
Yeah.
And you kind of said you saw it as he did crack at the end of that.
The way that Cushing...
And now he's just stuck. He's just going to be stuck repeating. He's kind of become an inmate in himself.
Absolutely. He's at home in that asylum. You know, like, he's never going to leave it, whether he's in a position of authority or not. The way I kind of read it, based on Cushing's delivery, is, you know, like, he's not acknowledged what's just happened, like the gravity, the of what's just happened. He's just cleaning up, sweeping things up. oh, we'll try again. Like,
Sweep it under the rug, start again.
We'll try it all again. And I interpreted it as it is almost like a slip into madness. Like, he's gone. Like, he's lost it. He's finally just lost it. And also the way that Sarah and Simon are just looking at him in that moment. You know, it's almost like...
Yeah. So also, we don't know where it goes after this. I could also see a world where Dr. Franken takes over as the director of that asylum.
Yeah.
Because things aren't going to be able to go on as they are.
Are Simon and Sarah going to stay and help him for another go? Or
who knows? Like we now know the lines.
The room.
We now know the lines that Simon won't cross. Thing is, I do think this is a really interesting ending to these films, and I think Peter Cushing's performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a very famous action sequence in this one where, you know, he gets a bottle of like chloroform, puts it in his coat, smashes it against the wall, so you can then jump on to the back of the creature and
engulf him.
And he did that. Even though he was in poor health and 59 years old, he looks way older than 59. And he's like stick thin. He wanted to jump off the table and do it. David Prowse have to spin around, go down to the ground. He insisted.
Yeah.
He's got to have his action hero moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dedication of this actor and
It's
everyone
great.
behind the scenes, they all just talk about how lovely he was.
Yes.
But apparently in this one, he was quieter than usual.
Yeah.
He would quite often just keep to him. He would just keep to himself in his dressing room, or you'd kind of in between scenes, would just kind of back into a corner with Simon.
Yeah.
So like a little bit of that spark
Had gone. But he was always professional and he was always courteous. And I think it speaks volumes that when we were watching them, you know, the actors recalling their memories of working on it, you know, speaking of, you know, a memory that happened 30 years ago, they still remember Cushing as just being a lovely man.
The same with Terence Fisher as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realise he had multiple car accidents.
So, very unlucky.
It seems like he had 2 or 3 car accidents in his life.
That's very unlucky for him. But yeah, I think Peter Cushing's professionalism and just, you know, him as a human being, I don't think that's ever been questioned.
No, never.
Yeah. And it is very sad because, you know, to look at him, it's quite hard to watch because he definitely looks older than a 59-year-old man.
Yeah, he aged so quickly.
But I really like his performance in this. Actually, I think
you can look past the wig.
The whole cast are great. I will
definitely.
I will say that. And I do think that Simon, of all the assistants, of all the protégés, of all the disciples, he is the strongest.
I think he could have carried a film on his own. I would have
happily watched another film with just him, to be honest with you, like carrying it on. It's actually a really high end point for me.
Yeah.
Like, this was a solid film.
We debated where to put, like, creature-wise, I think the creature design is quite low down.
Yeah, I don't rank it.
I'll give it originality. Would you put it above Evil?
Wait, as in creature?
Yeah, the creature from Evil.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd be happy just placing it there.
Yeah.
Second to bottom.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just not a big fan of. I appreciate that it's a bit monstrous.
Bit silly. That's it.
Bit silly. Bit cheap looking.
They could have toned the hair and like the ape-like look down.
Yeah. But the movie itself, I think we ended up when we discussed this for a while last night when we watched this, and we think we might have even put it top 3, didn't we?
So right. Bottom to top.
Right, because this might even change from like our last video. We recorded that video like a month ago.
Yeah.
So bottom.
Evil.
Curse. Horror.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Woman.
This one. And top 2 is revenge and. Must Be Destroyed?
Yeah. That's all of them, I think. Right?
Yeah, that's all.
I'm comfortable with that.
I'm pretty comfortable. A couple of them could move around because ultimately, I enjoy all these films, and we're discussing at length like, what is it like? Obviously, the Dracula films are way more popular. I think what it is about these films that I really like. Obviously, we have Peter Cushing as the through line, the consistency. That's the word I was looking for. The consistency of these films. Every Dracula film, we have to re-establish a new main character. Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, we establish new side characters, but they always end up being developed through Frankenstein. Yeah. Having that singular character, apart from in horror, that singular character for everything else to latch onto. If the movies themselves cared a bit more about their continuity, could make this really, really strong series. Each has got their ups and downs, but having that one person that ties it all together really, really works. And it's something that they have over
I agree.
the Draculas. And I love a lot of the Dracula films. Some of the
Yes.
Draculas I love way more than the Frankensteins as well.
Yeah.
Personally, I wish the Frankensteins did a bit of time travel and went into the 70s.
Yeah, that would
I think that would have been really fun.
The-
We could have had a hippie Frankenstein.
I think that the Frankenstein films are... We don't dislike any of them.
No.
There's some I would watch more regularly than others, but I don't think there's a bad Frankenstein film. I can't necessarily say the same for the Dracula franchise. Seven Golden Vampires is shite. Like, there's no bones about that. Like, it's not a good movie. Don't particularly get a lot of entertainment out of Prince of Darkness. So for me, yeah, the Frankenstein movies consistently are made to a not necessarily a higher quality, just a consistently
More consistent
entertaining quality.
But do any of the Frankensteins reach the levels of like Brides of Dracula?
Brides is great.
Or even like Dracula AD 72, for example.
Yeah, I know.
The Draculas have like high highs and low lows, whereas the Frankensteins I feel like are like very consistent with some good highs.
Yeah.
It's tend to how I view this
I
franchise.
I do think Must Be Destroyed is just
It's a stellar film.
It actually is. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that you could.
And there's
put that
many
up against
things in
Brides.
this that could be seen as a regression from that,
Yeah,
especially character-wise.
yeah, definitely.
But I see the film for what it is. It's the dying breath of Hammer as it was, with a man who just desperately wanted to work because of a tragedy in his life, who still puts it all in. And the film is different enough to justify why it exists.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
what puts this like in the top 3 for me alone.
Yeah.
Despite the rough creature design,
Yeah,
despite having a mostly mute side character,
yeah,
we get a stellar performance from Peter Cushing that's more haunting
yeah.
than ever before. We have the true successor to Frankenstein,
Yes.
who is just more in line with humanity.
Yeah.
And we get the asylum setting, which is almost an upgrade on the hospital setting we got from Revenge.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
A couple of tweaks, and this could have been the best of them.
It could have been.
This Blu-ray, I think it's from like 2014, looks amazing. This is the best looking of the Blu-rays, but I also think this is one of the best looking of the Frankenstein films in general.
There was so many moments where I was watching it and I was genuinely like, this could have been released today. This film, like, the quality was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And again,
really, really good.
The gore element, which, like we said, is not necessary for a Frankenstein movie, but the fact that it's 7 films in and it's a novelty to
Yeah.
see a brain, to see blood, and to see a lot of gore. It's like, all right, I appreciate that.
Oh, give it to each of the Frankensteins, whether or not successfully or not, they will always do something different.
Yeah.
Like Horror Frankenstein, which essentially is just Curse with a fresh lick of paint, still did something different. Evil, which was just a remake of Curse with a fresh lick of paint.
Yeah.
We had the hypnosis side of it that was really different. They always tried, and that's why I can kind of forgive the whole like, oh, we'll breed him because it doesn't go anywhere. But there were very few things left you could try.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed these as a whole. I need to get Created Woman and Must Be Destroyed on Blu-ray.
Must Be Destroyed.
The only two
definitely.
I've not got.
I would very much like to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed watching all of them and studying them.
They've all come with interest in behind-the-scenes documentaries as well. Like this one, we dropped like nearly 30 quid on this one, and I got it just because it looked good. But I'm like, we hadn't seen the film when I bought it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, please don't be bad.
I know.
Because I took a chance when we did the Draculas, and I was like, look, I don't think Seven Golden Vampires is going to be good. I don't want to buy it, because the only Blu-ray I found for that was like 20 quid.
And it wasn't good.
And I'm glad I didn't buy that one. I have no intention of adding that to my collection.
I have no intention of ever watching that movie again.
But this one, I said we have 2 different aspect ratios to watch the film. We've got behind-the-scenes documentary. There's literally, I've got it here. There's literally a book with it, which is on Hammer and the creation of this film. We've got production stills. It's a really, really high-quality Blu-ray.
Yeah, and that is genuinely an interesting read.
Yeah, it really is. We actually learned a lot from this. So if anyone is a fan, obviously Hammer are currently going through and doing remasters of a lot of their old films. I don't know how their remaster could top this one.
No.
But I'm liking the consistency of like the new box art that they're doing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly throw it out to our channel members. You guys are awesome. Your membership helps us get things like this, and gives us what we need to keep going. So, but thank you very much for all your support. It is very much appreciated. And to the general public, viewing, what What's your favourite of these two? Like, what's your opinion on horror? I want to know this one in particular. Where do you stand on a horror of Frankenstein?
Yeah.
And now that we finish this, what's your ranking
Yeah.
of all these?
Yeah.
Do you have any more notes on this one?
I do not, actually. No, I don't. But I'm comfortable in the ranking. I don't think I'm going to move any of
Mine
those.
could move. The creature design ones could move as well.
Yeah.
Like, the top ones between, like, Revenge Must Be Destroyed and Monster from Hell could change depending on what day
Yeah.
I'm on. And weirdly, I feel like I'll end up watching Evil a fair bit, even though it's literally at the bottom, because I find it quite an easy film to watch.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Horror at Frankenstein is third lowest, but I can definitely see myself watching that just casually.
I almost feel bad having Curse as low down as it is, and that's not because it's a bad film. Like,
Not
you
at
have to,
all.
we like all of these films.
Not at all. I think it's just like Curse by comparison to where the other films take the story is ultimately it's just quite
basic,
mundane and a bit simple, and I like
restricted to so few locations as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a much smaller scale movie than all the others.
Yeah.
It's like I hate to constantly compare it to Dracula, but it's like no one classes Dracula, or Horror of Dracula as it was called in the States, as the best, and it's usually quite low down on a lot of people's lists, but that's still a good film.
Still a good film, yeah.
I'm going to suggest we do all the werewolf movies next,
I will happily sit and talk about Curse of the Werewolf.
because that's the only werewolf movie they did.
Yes.
That's really easy though. I want to do a few more of the vampire ones they did. I want to do Lust for the Vampire, Vampire Lovers, and Cronus.
Yeah. I
think they each deserve a video of their own.
We have endless choices, really, when it comes to Hammer.
Absolutely. But I think we've done the two longest running ones now.
We have. Yeah, definitely. We've got
And
the two big
this
boys
has been a
out the
lot
way.
of fun.
Yeah.
I've really, really enjoyed this one.
I have. It's been a hoot.
A big Frankenstein, yeah, because obviously we have Del Toro's Frankenstein coming out later this year, probably roughly around the time that this video comes out.
Yes.
As well. Next year we've got Maggie Gyllenhaal's
The Bride.
It might be a directorial debut?
No.
Oh, it was actually directed before. Yeah, we got The Bride coming out, so The Bride of Frankenstein's finally reappearing. It's interesting that this never went in that direction. We thought Woman was going to, but it didn't. It would be nice to see The Bride of Frankenstein make a reappearance after such a long time.
The return of monster movies.
Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this series, and we'll see you when we see you.
Bye.